In American society, we see sufferers of mental illness as a burden that needs to be corrected immediately, which can be problematic. Instead of seeing someone's mental illness as an obstacle, it is necessary to become more mindful and empathetic toward the sufferer in order to make them feel less alone. In Crazy Like Us, Ethan Waters revealed that the Zanzibar cultural community treats members suffering with schizophrenia with an inclusive approach that accepts the illness for what it is. As a result, collectivistic societies are more considerate and tolerant of the sufferer, which puts less pressure on an individual, along with making them feel like they are still an important part of the community. In contrast, individualistic cultures often want to fix the mentally ill while excluding them at the same time. This is tied to the fact that the Western biomedical approach has become the primary way to treat a patient, which looks to find chemical imbalances in the brain. Since this has become the biggest objective for finding treatments, it has become embedded in Western societies that the sufferer is biologically different. With this being the dominant reaction, it makes the general population want to distance themselves and view sufferers of mental illness as dangerous, along with other hurtful assumptions. In the book Cultural Psychology, Stephen J. Hine explains that individualistic cultures feel distinct from others and emphasize the importance of being self-sufficient, while collectivistic cultures focus on the entire group, which revolves around strong social relationships. From this information, individualistic cultures may have a harder time dealing with people suffering from mental illness since self-reliance is highly valued. Due to these expectations, the sufferer may feel alienated since they aren't living up to societal standards. I urge you to consider that the way people perceive a family member living with a mental illness impacts how well the sufferer will live their everyday life. We need to understand that the Western mental illness approach can be harmful when it is taught to be the universal way, since methods that people prioritize depend on the cultural community that they are a part of. In conclusion, having more compassion and patience for those dealing with a mental illness will create a positive environment where one doesn't have to be criticized by their behaviors that might be seen as different.